Hello, everybody, and welcome to the class. My name is Dr. Dirk Horn, and I'm your professor for Political Science B1, American Government, Local, State, and National Politics. Welcome to the course. Welcome to a eventful summer online here at BC. So I hope that you were able to adjust to some online learning for spring, however chaotic that may have been, and are a little bit more familiar with online classes this summer. Nonetheless, never fear. I'm an experienced online teacher. I wasn't one of those professors that just had to get thrown into online teaching and they've never done it. I'm a full-time professor at CSUB as well. I've taught online there for about 5 years, and I've taught online at BC for a couple years now, all using the Canvas learning management system as well as Blackboard, but mostly Canvas. So I'm pretty experienced in online classes. So I've set the class up as best I can in order to help you succeed in the course. I know this is a general education course. Most of you are not political science majors. If any of you, I'm usually lucky to have one or two. So please note that I approach this course as such, right? I do my best to make sure everybody passes, and I usually can keep a promise that if you put an effort into this class, you do the assignments, you watch the lectures, you do the reading, that you'll pass the class, right? Usually there's a pretty nice curve applied to the end of the class depending on how the class goes. But if you put the effort into this class, you more than likely will pass the class, right? So if you don't put the effort in, right, you don't do the work, and you come to me at the end of the class saying, oh, I need to pass, right, but you haven't done anything, I'm not going to be able to help you. But if you've been actively engaging throughout the semester this summer, you can almost be guaranteed to pass the class with at least a C. So, but saying that, most students pass the class with A's or B's on their own without the curve, because of the way I have this class set up and the way that I deliver the material and the type of questions I emphasize on the exam. So we'll talk about all that, but this video is just to show you how to navigate the course website. So when you first log into your BC Canvas account, the first thing you're going to want to do is find the account or the class among your tiles of class listed. It should be pretty easy because it's a summer school class, so hopefully you're not taking too many of those classes, as these classes do mean fast. So once you find the tile that corresponds with Poli-Sci B1, you'll see a picture of Abraham Lincoln there on the tile as well. That's the class. Go ahead and click that, and you'll be brought to this page right here. So this is what the Canvas page looks like on your end. I'm in student view, so this is what that you'll see. Different color schemes sometimes, but this is what you'll see when you log into the course website, right? So the first thing you want to do is actually click on this that says read this first, right? So everything you need to do in the first week is all located here, except the Inquisitive assignments, which we'll get to here in a minute. So the very first thing you want to do is click read this first, and read this first will take you to the page that basically tells you what you need to do this week to get started in the class, and it also sets you up to be successful in the class in the coming weeks, right? So you're going to want to make sure you watch the video that you're watching right now, but if you have any questions about anything I cover, you can always go back to the video as it's embedded right here on this page. After watching this video, you're going to want to go to the page entitled How the Course Works, which was directly below this page. We'll go back to that in a minute on the course homepage. Then you'll want to open up the syllabus. I've also attached the syllabus to the email that this video is located in, so please do read it very carefully. There's lots of good information in there. Then you'll want to take the syllabus quiz. It's a short quiz. If you read the syllabus, there's no issues. You'll pass it with 100%, and you do get multiple attempts, so if you didn't pass it with 100% and you want to get 100%, you could retake it again multiple times up until the due date, right? After the syllabus quiz, you're going to want to make sure you introduce yourself in the student introduction discussion form located in this week's module, and then you'll move on to the week number 1 Inquisitive assignments, specifically how to use Inquisitive and how to read charts and graphs. We'll talk about Inquisitive here in a minute. I know some of you have had some questions, and we'll talk about how to gain access to Inquisitive and the books and all that stuff momentarily, right? So after you do steps 1 through 6, you're ready to move on to the course material for week number 2, right? So you won't be able to get into week number 2 assignments until you do the assignments from this week's module. But this week's module assignments, they're pretty easy. They're just meant for you to ease into the course and figure out how to work Canvas and how the course is designed and stuff like that. So this week is a pretty easy week, but you don't want to fall behind. So make sure that you do the assigned readings, and even if you get done early this week, go ahead and get a jump on week number 2, right? So you can get a jump for next week, right? So after you read the page, read this first with the 6 steps you need to do to complete the assignments this week. You'll go ahead and backtrack out of that, and then go ahead and click on how the course works, right? And then that'll take you to a page that looks like this. Essentially, this is a class structure for those that need a little bit more guidance in an online class, right? The way this class is set up, there are no scheduled lecture days where you have to tune in at a certain time and watch me on Zoom. All the lectures are pre-recorded and embedded here on Canvas, so you can watch the lectures for the week whenever you want to throughout the week. You want to watch them before you do the assignment so you have the information, but essentially you can watch the lectures at any time throughout the week because they're embedded. So some students, they don't do as well with that type of class because they're used to having a little bit more schedule, right? You have to come to class on this day, you have to go to lecture on this day. So this is essentially a schedule for those that need a little bit more guidance. If that's not you, feel free to disregard right after you get a hang of the class, but it is if it is you, then this will help you out a little bit, right? So on Mondays and Tuesdays, you want to read the textbook, take notes, watch the lectures, take notes, right? Wednesday, you should start your assignments, so you want to make sure that you complete your initial discussion forum post. This is where you answer the discussion forum prompt. All detailed instructions on the forums and all assignments are located in the syllabus. They give you word counts for the post and the response post, the due dates, the times, all that stuff is in the syllabus, so make sure you review that, right? You also want to start your Inquisitive assignments for the week and your chapter activities for the week, right? These are the 3 assignments that you'll have every week. You'll have a discussion forum, you'll have Inquisitive assignments for whatever chapters we cover, and then you'll have chapter activities for whatever chapter we cover. You also have a midterm exam in week number 3, and then a final exam in the last week, week number 6, right? But mostly, this is what your weeks look like, right? So 3 main assignments. That's those you start on Wednesday, Thursday through Saturday, right? You don't have to work on Saturday if you get everything done in a couple days. If you're one of those students, that's fine, right? But Saturday is usually the due dates for the assignments, which we'll talk about here in a minute. And so as long as you have everything done by then, you don't need to work on Saturdays, right? You don't even need to work on every day throughout the week if you can get things done ahead of time, right? So Thursday through Saturday is essentially just finishing up the chapter assignments, the Inquisitive assignments, and the discussion forum post for the week, right? So after you read how the course works page, you'll want to go ahead and click on this to open up the syllabus. Read the syllabus very carefully, right? There's even some Easter eggs and stuff in there. And then also make sure you take the syllabus quiz after you read the syllabus. Then after you take the syllabus quiz, you go ahead and get into the student discussion forum. I want to show you how that looks. Each discussion forum will have a prompt up here, and you simply just click on this reply box and then enter in your response and then hit enter, and it will be a threaded reply from the discussion forum prompt. Pretty simple. If you've ever had a class on Canvas, if you were at BC in the spring, I'm sure you had to do discussion forums. You should be well familiar. But if not, feel free to attend my office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Or if those times don't work, just simply send me an email and we can schedule a different time, or if I can't answer the questions via email, right? I'm pretty available. I respond to emails fairly quickly. I'm one of those professors that don't like to have a whole bunch of emails in my inbox, so as soon as I get them in there, if I can get them out of there with a quick response, I usually do. So don't be surprised if I respond immediately to your emails, though sometimes I take 24 hours, or I'll respond in the morning if I'm done working for the day or if I'm away from my computer, right? So that's your week number 1 module, right? So that is essentially what all you have to do for week number 1, but there is one more assignment, and that is the Inquisitive assignments, which are right down here, and we'll talk about those in a minute. You'll have Inquisitive assignments every week, and you have to do a little bit of registration. So we'll talk about that in a minute, right? So after you go through everything in module number 1, right, you'll want to look at the course resource schedules and policies. The weekly course schedule is, again, just a rehashment of how this course works. So you don't need to reread this if you've already read it, but it is a good reference point. And then that this is mostly there because of a requirement at CSUB, which you'll see some of this stuff is copied over. But it's the same exact material, same book, same class, everything like that. So you are good to go on that end. The course student learning outcomes, if you want to know what you'll learn in this class by the end of the class, you could see these learning outcomes. These are also stated in the syllabus as well. And waiting on technology, right? That's a good segue. For exams and assignments and stuff, don't wait until the last minute in the due date, particularly if you have shoddy internet, right? Because you have a week to do this stuff, so there are no extensions given, right? Unless you have a personal or medical emergency, the due dates are the due dates. So make sure you get them done. You have lots of time throughout the week to do them. So make sure you get them done. Don't wait until the last minute and then email me with excuses that the internet went down, et cetera, because those won't be valid because you've had all week, right? So the internet might have been down for that day, but was it down for the other 6 days, right? If you can prove that, then you might have an excuse, but just get the assignments done, right? They're straightforward assignments, just get them done. Assignment instructions and instructor response time, all this information that you see me go through here is in the syllabus as well. So if you get a good read through the syllabus, you can kind of skip through this stuff, but I would encourage you to just go ahead and check it out anyway, right? So your discussion forums, right? You have to make a total of 3 discussion forum posts each week. You have to have your initial post where you answer the discussion forum prompt posted by 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday of each week. This needs to be a post of at least 250 words, right? And then you have to respond to classmates each week. So you have a total of 3 posts, right? 1 initial post, original post, and then 2 response posts, right? Your 2 response posts have to be posted by 11:59 p.m. each Saturday of each week, right? And the follow-up post should be between 150 words each. So don't just respond, oh, you made a good point, and that's it, right? Why did they make a good point? What other details could they go and include in their post to further their point, right? Do you have an issue with some of the points that are made, right? Be respectful, but that type of back and forth is encouraged. But make sure you get those word counts because I do knock down points if you don't have them, right? Discussion board participation is 15% of your overall grade, right? The Inquisitive assignments for each chapter we cover in both the We the People book and the Governing California book. You have Inquisitive chapter to complete whenever we review that chapter, right? When you click on the Inquisitive assignment link, which we'll do here in a minute, you'll be prompted to register, right? And this is where you enter the code that came with the book that you bought from the BC bookstore. But there are some other ways you can get access to Inquisitive and the books if you haven't purchased your books yet, right? If you haven't purchased your books yet, you can buy the digital versions of both books and get both codes for both books for around $70. You can get access immediately. If you bought your books from the BC bookstore or Amazon or something like that, if it's from Amazon, make sure it's new. Make sure it comes with a code. If you're getting it from the BC bookstore, it'll be new. It'll come with a code. And if it's going to be a couple days or a week before that gets in, right, you can create a trial account for Inquisitive to start working on the chapter assignments until your book comes in with the code, right? So just use your BC email and just enter the same information that you enter in for the free trial that goes along with the information that you enter in when you actually get your 8-digit code, and it'll just all merge together, right? So if by some chance that your book has not yet come in and you need to get started on these Inquisitive this week or next week rather, right? Then you need to essentially start the free trial, get going on those until you can get access to those codes, right? Again, you can buy both ebooks and both codes from the publisher for about $70. You can also buy just the codes if you happen to track down a used book that didn't come with a code. Older editions are fine used, but you'll have to have a new code. So you can buy just the codes from Inquisitive as well if you already have an older book, right? So those are your options on books. You can buy the ebooks and everything through Canvas. I'll show you where to do that in a minute, and that'll come with the codes and all that. So once you register for the Inquisitive, it'll give you those options of either to enter a code, to buy a code, just the code, or to buy the digital books and the code as well, right? And then all Inquisitive assignments, whether you just have one Inquisitive assignment or two, or you have 3 chapters assigned that week, right? They're all due by 11:59 p.m. on Saturday of each week, right? Each chapter also has what I call chapter activities. These chapter activities are made up of 3 exercises. They're made up of video exercises, chapter simulations, and very brief politics quizzes, right? These chapter activities, they are meant to tie in some of the concepts that we're reviewing in class to real life, like current situations. So situations that happen under the Trump administration or that just happened under the Obama administration, with real life news stories and scenarios, right? So you're able to put a little bit of the theory into practice with these chapters activities. They do not take very long at all. You should be able to get all the chapter activities done for the whole week. That's including if you have like 3 chapters assigned that week, in about 30 minutes, right? So each one of these video exercises, chapter simulations, brief politics quizzes, they shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes a piece, right? So essentially a lot of these are just you read a quick thing and then you respond, or you watch a quick video, you respond, right? So make sure you knock these out each week. They may seem cumbersome, but they have purpose by tying theory into practice, and they actually help students learn the material. I get a lot of good feedback on those during their reviews, right? So chapter activities, much like the discussion forum follow-up post and the Inquisitive assignments, are due by 11:59 p.m. on Saturday of each week, right? You do have a midterm exam and a final exam in this class, right? Because I want you guys to be able to pass this class. I want everybody to be able to pass this class even before the curve is applied, right? I'm giving you, you have the whole week during week number 3 to take the midterm exam. Make sure that you do the reading, watch the lectures, and complete the assignments for week number 3 before you get into the midterm exam. But you have the whole week to complete the exam, and you have 2 attempts at the exam. So say you take the exam once and you didn't get as high as you'd like, you have another attempt. So as long as your grade is in there by 11:59 p.m. On Monday, July 6th, and with the midterm, I'm even giving you extra time because the Saturday that the midterm will normally be due is July 4th. And because I'm a nice professor and I want you guys to enjoy the nation's birthday and probably one of the new social gatherings that you've had since a lot of this pandemic has taken under, right? I'm going to give you a little bit more time. So I don't want to make it due on that Sunday on the 5th because I assume some of you guys are going to be enjoying yourselves. So I'm giving you to July 6th, 11:59 p.m. on Monday, July 6th. So it goes over into week number 4. So if you knock it out before July 4th, that's fine, but you have until July 6th. So you have 2 attempts. As long as you get the grade that you want in those 2 attempts by July 6th, 11:59 p.m., you're good to go for the midterm exam, right? But don't worry, because if you didn't get the grade that you want to have under those 2 attempts for the midterm, I also offer what is called an optional makeup paper. And the optional makeup paper allows you to replace the grade on your midterm by basically writing a paper. And those instructions are in the same module as the midterm, right under week number 3's module, which you'll see once you get into the class, right? And then lastly, you also have a final exam. I normally make it comprehensive, but because this is a short summer school class, right, I'm just going to make the final exam the second half of the class. So it won't be comprehensive. It won't cover anything of the material on the midterm exam. And there is both a study guide for the final exam and the midterm exam posted on Canvas, right? So that's just a brief overview of the assignments. Those are all listed with detailed instructions in your syllabus, so please refer to that when you get a chance, right? Your ebooks are right here. We talked about how to get access to those. If you need to buy the digital versions, come down here to We the People, right, Inquisitive, and you'll click on that. You'll get taken to the assignment page within Canvas. Make sure that you watch this video before registering or doing anything with Inquisitive, because it'll basically tell you how to do that. And then once you do register for Inquisitive, you're going to do the exact same steps for Governing California Inquisitive, which is directly below this link on the homepage, but you use the Governing California code, right, or the Governing California code that you get when you purchase the code from Norton here on the website, right? If you have any technical issues at all with Inquisitive, I can't help you, right? I can't get into Inquisitive's software. The only thing I can do is just see the type of grade you have. I can't do anything in terms of changing it or anything like that. So if you have any issues, right, you completed a chapter and it's not showing up, or everything got erased or stuff like that, right, you need to submit a help ticket. You could do that right here by clicking on this link. The link is also in the syllabus as well, and then you could put in a help ticket. I can't help you until you submit a help ticket, because if I contact the publisher and say, one of my students, right, they're dealing with thousands of students. They need to know what student I'm talking about, right, for which class, all that information. So I can't help you unless you submit a help ticket. So if you're having issues with Inquisitive, submit a help ticket here, and then wait a couple days, 3 or 4 days, and see if they don't fix it. If then they don't fix it, then you can get in contact with me, providing the information from the help ticket, and I can reach out to the publisher to see if we can get this started, right? But to access the Inquisitive assignment, you're going to come down here after all that information, and then click on this little grayed out box that says Load We the People Inquisitive Assignments in New Window. When you do that, right, and I know we're about 20 minutes here, so hold on there. We're almost done, and I'll let you guys out of here. So when you do that, you'll be taken to a page like this, right? And after you register, put in your codes and all that, you should look exactly like this, with this big green box up here on the right-hand side that says Connected to LMS. If you have that box there, that means that your grades will get reported to Canvas, right? So that's a good thing. And then these are all the Inquisitive assignments that you have to complete throughout the class. You can see when they are due here. You can also look on the syllabus for if there's a chapter assigned in a particular week, then that Inquisitive assignment is due on the Saturday of that week, right? But you can also just go to the Inquisitive page and then see here the due dates, right? So you have until Sunday at 11:59 p.m. the 21st to complete the Inquisitive assignments for week number 1. I'll give you a couple extra days to get going. But then they're due on Saturday, 11:59 p.m., right? So you can see your Inquisitives for Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. You just simply click these, right? But you can see the due dates here on this column here, right? So I didn't assign all the Inquisitive assignments because this is a fast-moving class, so I left some material out. You can thank me for that. But that's how Inquisitive essentially goes down, right? And here's your governing California. You simply click on that. You would launch it, put in your code, etc., exactly how you do that for that, right? As you can see here, Inquisitive assignments, right, they're due every week, right? They're due every week. After you do all the requirements in module number 1, you read all the course resources, the schedule, the policies, and the next module, you register for Inquisitive. You complete the week number 1 Inquisitive assignments, then you're ready for week number 2, right? And week number 2 is essentially what the modules will look like going forward. You'll have an assignment checklist that tells you all the assignments you need to complete. It's usually the same every week, but make sure you check it because it might remind you to complete the midterm, review the study guide, stuff like that, right? So make sure you look at that. Then you also have your lectures and notes, your additional readings, your discussion forum, your chapter activities, right here, and then a reminder to complete the Inquisitive assignment. You have to go back up here and click on this for every Inquisitive assignment. Fortunately, it can't be embedded per module, right? So that's essentially how every module looks, right? I'll just show you how some of this stuff looks real quick, and then I'll let you guys out of here, right? So this is the assignment checklist, right? It tells you the assignments you need to complete, right? It tells you the learning outcomes that you'll gain by the end of the week. Right. The lectures are always here. You see here, they're embedded here. Lecture notes right below them. You can click those and download those and then follow along and write notes, right? So there's usually 3 or 4 lectures every week. Additional readings will also be either posted here or hyperlinked. Most of them are hyperlinked, I believe. Your discussion forum, right? Nice reminder of the due date. Your simulation quiz, etc., right? So that's essentially how every week's module will be, right? Again, like I said, those chapter activities look daunting, but they're quick, real quick. You're going to breeze through those. Those are going to be the easiest assignments that you do for the class, right? So that's essentially it. You have 3 main assignments each week that you'll have to complete. You have 2 main due dates each week. Wednesday at 11:59 for your first discussion forum post, and then Saturday at 11:59 for your follow-up post, your Inquisitive assignments, and your chapter activities, right? You also have a midterm and a final, and then an optional makeup paper to replace your grade, right? So that about does it. All this information is laid out in the syllabus as well. This video is just to help more visual learners and to show you how the course is laid out, and for us to kind of get to know each other. Again, I have office hours every Tuesday and Thursday. I send out links via email the day of, about an hour or two before, for a Zoom link. So keep an eye out on those. If those times don't work for you, I am able to meet at different times. So just let me know. Send me an email, right? I can't help you if you don't communicate with me, right? You probably heard from my fellow former students that I'm very helpful, but I can't help you if you don't let me know how to help you, right? My goal is to make sure all my students pass my classes. Unfortunately, there are always a couple students that don't, because they fall off the map. They don't communicate that they're going through things. They don't communicate that they need help. I cannot read your mind, so I cannot help you unless you tell me. So please, please, please help. Let me know if I could be of any help. If you got what you think is a dumb question, what you think is a question that can't be answered, you need career advice, higher education advice, anything like that, I am here for you. You want to know what's going on with the next round of stimulus? You want to know what's going on in the economy, the stock market? That is all stuff we could talk about in office hours and stuff like that, right? So it was a pleasure showing you how to navigate the course, and I hope that we can get to know each other during this brief semester. Please let me know if I can be of any assistance going forward. Thank you. Have a good day.